Hello, and thanks for joining us for tonight's edition of Majority Caucus. My name is Ali Dawood. In case you haven't noticed, the witness or the star witness for the first and third respondents have taken his stand in the witness box to, as it were, give testimony to the affidavit sworn to the court. And evidence in chief has been led, and now we are seeing the cross-examination from the counsel for the petitioners. And clearly, many are those who have been enlightened with regards to electoral processes in Ghana. And people are excited. For the first time, they got to understand what it means to have a polling station code or polling station number as compared to a serial number on pink sheets, as we were made to believe when the Dr. Baumia was given evidence. And so the cross-examination will continue. But our duty here as patriots is to shed more light for the purposes of those who perhaps for one or two reasons haven't had the proper grasp of the concept of court proceedings. And so in the studio tonight, we'll be looking at the election petition. It is our duty to educate and inform you. And we also will attempt to discuss the arrest of the former constituency chairman of Ayawaso West Wagon. I'm talking about Omari Wadie, for that dastardly act that he engaged himself to, which he has confessed since on Radio Good that indeed he created that in response to whatever attacks that he thought were being launched on Akufo-Addo. Also, let me state that here in this same studio, we've had the other version of Majority Caucus, which is the minority, where Isaac Achampong, TESCON, I beg your pardon, TESCON coordinator, sat here and made serious allegations that indeed the national security swapped the boxes, or they may even be responsible for adding those boxes to the 24 boxes counted at the judiciary or the office of the registrar. I want to state on record that there has been no such report, no investigation has yielded any such results, and that allegation should be treated with all the contempt that it deserves. And also, it is not also true that stock was or inventory was not taken. Indeed, inventory was taken. When the NDC received their 24 boxes, they notified in writing to the registrar at the court, and he has it documented that they only took custody of 24 boxes. So you don't need to come there and count, and you don't need KPMG's permission to count. It has already been counted. So we'll be discussing all these issues and more. Tonight in the studio, I've been joined in by lawyer Chris Akume, who is a leading member of the NDC legal team. We'll be joined later by lawyer George Lowe, and when he comes, we'll give him the opportunity to speak. Lawyer, you're most welcome.
Thank you. Good evening to you and all listeners.
I'm sure they hear and respond equally.
Thank you.
Lawyer Chris, I'm sure you were in courts. I mean, you don't miss proceedings, of course. Help us to appreciate the new dimension and what is happening in courts. We have a new witness.
Yes. Yeah, unfortunately, today of all this, I was not in court. I was a little bit indisposed, so I spent a greater part of the morning at the hospital. But when I came home, I caught up with the afternoon session. And, I watched proceedings from home. For the first time, watching from home gives you a new dimension as to, what transpires in court. It's a different thing altogether when you're in court and when you're watching from home. Yes. So I watched it, and, it was quite very, very interesting and then very, very revealing. Last week, I gave an answer to a question as to when people were raising issues with Chachu's Chikata's cross-examination. And I remember I stated very clearly that, getting close to 2 decades, at least I've been in the court. I have seen very, very senior lawyers do cross-examination. I've read books on cross-examination, the art of cross-examination. And I've done cross-examination myself, getting close to 2 decades. And I told my listeners that, look, what the performance of Churchill has raised the art of cross-examination to very, very great height. It was very clear. Because at one point or the other, you remember when Churchill made an application to the court to invite 3,
other witnesses.
They ruled him out. They did not rule him out because they thought it was irrelevant. They ruled him out, quoting from Justice Atuguba's words, that the evidence is flowing in the court.
And that they have enough to chew on.
That is it. So the question is that, how does evidence flow in court? Evidence flows only in court when a person is led in evidence in chief and is giving his testimony, and when cross-examination is being done. That is when you are in a very good position to, to analyze or imbibe the truth of the matter. If Justice Atuguba is saying that the evidence is flowing, definitely it's flowing from Churchill's cross-examination. So I was wondering about the Hula Balu, which is being, raised by people that Churchill was a non-performing asset and the rest. I said, maybe I was looking at it from a different perspective. Then today, we have seen who a truthful witness is in court. Asedu has been very frank. He has been very, very candid. He was not economic with the truth.
At all.
And he was given answers where it was necessary for him to concede. He was conceding. And in fact, it was just like, a deja vu, a new learning, a new exposure. When you are exposed to that kind of learning situation, they say, this is an aha experience. You are now understanding. You are now following what has sounded or looked very complex earlier on. You see, the rudiments of election processes have been lost on a whole lot of Ghanaians. Just because we only go in to take our ballot papers, and quite recently, after the biometric verification, then you vote, listen to the vote counts, and then you get home, that sort of. But today, I can tell you that most Ghanaians, or the whole world, all those who have been glued to the TV, they have been taken through the process, and they know how transparent.
They know what polling station code is.
Yes,
if they see C, they know where it's coming from.
You remember Dr. Bawumia? I think on that occasion he was very candid when he confessed that he did not look at the regulations and then the guidelines to the election. And then we were wondering, you are going into election as a vice presidential candidate, and you show, or you are telling the whole world how ignorant you are. Then the question is, somebody was, does this man deserve to occupy the second highest land of the land when he's not even conversant with the process which will take him there? But as a lawyer, I think I want to be a little bit very careful because the case is ongoing. You understand it? But then I can only comment on comments made by the judge.
Of course.
And I can come to that conclusion that, as of now, if you are putting Churchill Chikata's cross-examination together, and you're adding General Mosquitoes, sorry, I said Nketia.
Oh, you're allowed. On this platform, you're allowed.
Evidence, in chief, on behalf of the first respondent and then the third together. I think the evidence has flowed more than one has expected. And you see, one thing that is very, intriguing or perplexing the minds of a lot of Ghanaians is that last Thursday, after the first day of Asedun Ketia, people were asking, where are we in court? Was there any need for it?
They were overwhelmed.
Yes. Yeah. Apart from that, people were looking at it from this perspective that, you see, if you look at the plethora of accusations which, they put across just after the election, one was that this Israeli company, is it STL or STL, which was established in the country, which was hijacking,
intercepting results, facts, documents
like,
in the air.
Kind of ballistic missiles.
Yes, invisible hands.
And then
it will change the result. And
before, that evidence today, which will have formed the basis of the alleged electoral fraud, which has put President Mahama in office, is not there.
Uncle Chris, I would want you
yes.
to, but we'll do that when I come from the break.
Thank you.
You tell me about this amicus lawyer, the famous amicus lawyer, and what really is the decision that the court arrived at in terms of whether or not the president can be sued, and whether the respondent in this case have even raised or considered that issue at all. Lawyer Chris Akume is still with us. The discussion continues after this break. Stay with me. Hello and welcome back to the show. Thanks for staying with us. We have been joined by a member of parliament for North Dai. He's also a member of the NDC legal team. He's a lawyer by profession, that's what I mean. So we've been joined by lawyer George Lowe. Lawyer, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Eli, for having me.
Lawyer, most people said Chachu was very short when he was leading, that's what they say, leading evidence in chief, right? With Asedun Ketia. He was very short, a day and a half. I'm right? They thought that was unlike Chachu. They were expecting that Chachu should go on and on and on.
Yeah, thank you, and good evening to your viewers. I think that people don't, if you are not a law person, a legal person who understands how law works, you are prompted or you are tempted to think that way. So you will not fault those who thought like that. Now, what is Asedun Ketia's locus strictly in this matter? Is representing the first
and
the third respondents. And don't forget that even the third respondent is there as a result of a joinder.
Yeah.
Good. So indeed, it is just that I have an interest in the matter, and I want to ensure that justice is done. I want to show that whatever is done, it affects me. So that is for him as a third respondent. Yes, the president as a first respondent. Why? Did he really conduct an election?
No.
In actual fact, all that the NPP is gloating about, that Asedun Ketia has done this, has done that, he said this and that. What is the status of his evidence or the weight of his evidence vis-a-vis that of the EC and the petitioners? Really,
so if I get you right, they should stop wasting their time cross-examining him, since the case is really against
not really that.
the EC.
What I'm saying is that he only comes to say that, well, I have an interest in this case. This is what our opponent is saying. This is what I believe the true situation is, and it ends there.
Okay.
Really, all this evening I've heard people say that Addison has shredded. I laughed because really.
Are you sure?
I had some
radio station at Medina, Zongo Junction. That is a known radio station for.
And I laughed.
And the one at the Medina Zongo Junction.
I laughed because they simply do not seem to understand or appreciate the issues. And I was even sad that, there are lawyers who go and sit on TV and sit on radio and talk about Asedun Ketia's evidence as though even if he had said things to the advantage of the NPP, they had won the case. It's laughable.
Indeed.
You know, for me, the position is very simple. I was even surprised that Addison was asking certain questions. Questions that if I were him, I would wait and put to the Electoral Commission. Because you are asking about overvoting, who defines overvoting? And I was happy that today that Tubuga was able to tell him that, you know, there are certain questions that were not legal. I mean, they were legal questions. Why, if you want irregularity, why are we in court? We are in court because they claim that there's an irregularity, and we think that the justices of the Supreme Court should be able to tell us whether there is or not. So if you're asking Judge Azedika to tell you what is overvoting, I think there's not, and I was surprised that and started saying because I thought he
repeatedly tried.
Yes, he could have known better. You know,
somewhere along the line, Chachu has to raise an objection.
Yes, he's a real senior lawyer, and I think that he should understand that you know, cross-examination, yes, there's some latitude, but you do not want to put legal questions to people. But I was fascinated by Asedu Nketia, and I had been vindicated. You know, from the very beginning, I said to the MPP, my friends, the MPP, that the worst they have done to their case is to bring Baumia. The bloke hasn't conducted an election. He doesn't know anything about election. But look at the evidence. He's able to explain the processes. He's able to tutor even Addison when on the other side. And I was very, very fast. I was having lunch with some people today whilst we were watching.
A powerful delegation.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, this man, look at what he's doing. Yeah, because you see, for instance, when he asks the question like those who are the collection center, and vis-a-vis those who are the polling station, they will not be able to know whether the results they transmitted are the same result. It was laughable because I have conducted an election. I have been a candidate. What happens at every polling station, the pink sheet is taken by somebody from the polling station
the presiding officer.
Yes, with their agents,
yes.
And they come to the collection center. So how can you ask a question like that? It means that simply he just received his brief as a lawyer. He is not practically
no due diligence.
Yes, no, and moreover, he is not practically au fait with the processes that goes into an election. So you see his handicap clearly.
Okay.
So some of the questions that he asks, and then he goes around to say that my questions are not being answered because he himself cannot appreciate the nuances of election.
Okay.
For the respondents, luckily, Asedu Nketia has been a candidate himself. I mean, a member of parliament. So
1972.
He's been a seasoned member, and then they received training.
Apart from the Pamwanta people.
Yeah. They received training by the Electoral Commission, so he understands the processes better. If they had brought somebody like maybe Dambotre, who has also been a general secretary, has been on the field, he may probably would have understood better and have put their case better.
But it's too late for them.
Yeah, it's too late for them. But Baumia, I knew from the beginning would not be able to.
They said it's their whiz kids.
Well, hard luck. I cannot see any whiz, let alone a kid.
Oh, okay.
You know,
perhaps this has nothing to do with economics. This is election.
This election. So, so clearly, I think that Asedu Nketia has been a fantastic witness. He has been very truthful. He has been candid and he concedes where it is. But I'm saying that for all those who are gloating out there, Asedu Nketia can come and stand in the box and say that yes, we cheated, yes, we stole, yes, we did this. It's of no consequence, so far as I'm concerned. Okay. Because for me, it is the Electoral Commissioner who should answer the questions. Okay. He is the one who has conducted an election. He's the national returning officer for the presidential election. He is the man who can say that, well, we erred here. Well, we didn't err. These are the reasons why I say we didn't err. These are the reasons why I say we err. And that ABCD, this is how an election is conducted. He's the authority on elections in the country. As for Asedu Nketia, he's coming to tell us that, well, all the things that these people are saying, it cannot be true because this is what we went through. This is what our agents said. This is the feedback we got. And we, so far as we are concerned as a party, so far as we are concerned, we won the presidential elections through due and
Okay. Chris, you want to make some input?
I'm surprised that you are saying that some radio stations are.
I think it's just one radio station,
do you know
which is noted for that, by the way.
I'm surprised? Because I can tell you, just like others, that there has been so much frustration, shown on the face of Addison today. You remember at one point in time, he was appealing to the judges that, Asedu Nketia has not been answering my questions. And one of the judges retorted, are you expecting the answer from us? You remember?
I listened to that. He's supposed to remind the witness. You are supposed to answer my questions.
Are you expecting the answer from the bench? No, ask the question. The question will elicit the answer. Is that not it?
So that's what Jodlo said. He doesn't even know what he's asking.
So you see the difference. That's why I'm talking about the art of cross-examination. Okay. You can be a very good lawyer, But when the art is not there, it's not there. It's not in UTC or Kingsway.
You need to go and learn.
You are going to buy it. You see the difference? You see, when you put gold and diamond together, or let me put it, diamond and bauxite, or any other, you see the difference.
Clear, crystal
Just
clear.
ordinary metal and gold, ordinary metal, and you see the difference. So between the art of cross-examination of Chachu and the rest, you know, he was getting the evidence from Bawumia, it was flowing. Even if you, despite the fact that Bawumia was very, very resistant,
Invasive.
very, very effective. But then he will eventually push him there, and then the evidence will flow. You understand?
Okay.
So when you show this amount of frustration to the point that you are even expecting the judges
To
to come to your aid, and people are saying that, you know, you have performed, or the witness has not performed.
That clearly leaves so much to be desired.
I cannot see it. I cannot see
and
it.
Chris, I want you to jump quickly to the amicus lawyer, and whether or not that
Yes,
situation has been resolved finally.
You see, you remember that when the whole thing started, when the president was sued, I mean, the whole country, even among lawyers, were divided as to whether, I mean, he could be sued or not. In the studio of Joy FM, I took a position that the president must defend the action. You see, even though I was aware of this constitutional provision, you know, I think that if we had gone that way,
You mean
and
Article
had come
64?
Yes, and had come, no, 57.
57.
If we had come to court and then, you know, to take refuge under Article 57, will Ghanaians know the truth?
Okay.
Ghanaians will not know the truth. So my insistence, or with other people, that the president must defend the action, was just to bring out the truth, the falsity in the position of the MPP. If the president has not defended the action, will they be telling everybody that, look, now we are now aware of the existence of the 23 alleged non-existing police stations? If the president has not defended the action, will Ghana be aware that even at those 23 police stations, Nana Akufo-Addo himself wrote letters to the EC appointing agents there? If the president has not defended the action, will Ghanaians know that the issue of STL, the Israeli company which was there massaging, receiving, was a, you know, an issue of imagination, you know, of the MPP, and that it never happened? Assuming if they had gone to burn that house, they were going to burn.
That would be catastrophic.
You understand? And they dropped that even in the action. So the question is, yes,
You needed to expose them.
yes, the Constitution says something. And then in one vein, the Constitution also says another thing. But then I think at all times, we must do a little bit of balancing act. And I believe that when, you know, Article 64 against 57, I will go for the president defending the action. Even though, you know, the two are in, you know, opposite direction. Now, when you come to Benoni Amakuji, I think, you see, this is an issue of interpretation. You understand it? And even now, some senior lawyers even believe, very senior lawyers, believe that no cause of action accrues to the petitioners against the president. I'm telling you, even today, they believe that, you see, going to court and asking a relief, asking the court to declare you, you know, a winner, amounts to conferring jurisdiction on the Supreme Court when they don't have it. Because by constitutional provisions, it is only the Electoral Commission who should conduct elections and declare results.
Okay.
You understand it? Now you are going to court and saying that as a result of our voting, as a result of this and this, you know, they should declare you the winner. I mean, you are taking away that kind of constitutional, you know, mandate, which is on the electoral commissioner and giving it to the Supreme Court. So you see, I will not be surprised if by other lawyers or other Ghanaians or other citizens go to court and then you file to the extent that for a declaration that the Supreme Court must use its own inherent jurisdiction to declare that they don't have jurisdiction to hear this matter. So you see,
that would be an interesting ruling.
It will be a very interesting thing, because in actual fact, are they the ones who are mandated by the Constitution to conduct and declare results? No. They cannot. So you even see that the relief that they are seeking in the court, I have a problem with it, but I won't go further. I'll leave it that way.
Okay.
So let's not just throw off amicus. You understand it? The issue is ripe. It is in the minds of a lot of people. But then my problem with him is that he should have gone for a declaration. He should have invited the court to look at the issue and look at the constitutional provisions and interpret it.
Okay.
Do an interpretation. Okay. In that way, if the court had interpreted it to mean this or the other, then, the process at the court will either be jettisoned or it will continue.
Depending on the interpretation. Lawyer George Low, I'm changing topic because we run out of time, clearly. Okay. This arrest and release of Omari Wadie, who's the MPP, former MPP constituency chairman for Iowa, so West Wagon. People want to understand really if there's a case for the state in terms of arresting somebody who has, by the help of technology, we call it Photoshop, by the way, managed to doctor some pictures and make it look very, very despicable, as we have seen in some newspapers. Is there a case to arrest somebody for publishing an obscene material?
Oh, you see, Ali, it's very... sometimes as a nation, when people talk and make certain pronouncements, I worry. Because I do not see how they can wonder. You and I know very well that even the public has been asking for the arrest of people who sell newspapers with pornographic materials. Don't we say that they should be arrested? Yeah. On what basis were we calling for the arrest? Clearly, it is against our laws. Clearly, if you go to Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, I think it's 280 thereabout.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just clearly about whoever publishes or pornographic, photographic, and all sorts of things, and makes it a misdemeanor under our laws. So clearly, the security agencies are on terra firma. They are backed by law. That if they suspect, and in this case, I will not say that I will call him a suspect. They suspect that he has done it. He must be questioned.
He said, I think he considered that.
Maybe he's considered
on Radio Go that yes. He did it.
Yes, and if he did it, he must be. I mean, the laws of the land must catch up with it. And I am very, very worried about, particularly my friends in the MPP. I get angry when people have done things clearly criminal. The security agencies, our security agencies, not the present security agencies. Ghana's state security agencies want to do the right thing, and then they are always up in arms, moving from place to for how many good reasons? Sir John says, I've sent my boy to go and look for him. For what? For what?
That is the understanding of the rule of law. If you don't understand it, then you are having a problem with yourself.
I can't clearly understand that if people have done wrong, let the security of the state.
They said very soon, Roberts will be shouting MPP.
No,
yes,
honorable,
that's the best.
You are in parliament. You are an honourable man. I mean, you see, that is their understanding of the rule of law. Okay. And if you don't understand it, then it is a big problem.
No, Chris, let's not go there. You see, I am saying that the rule of law means that the rule by the law. So I'm saying that if our law says that A, B, C, D is wrong, and that there are penalties that goes with it, we all know that under our law is the security agencies who must investigate these cases. Yeah. So when somebody clearly has done something wrong, and they've picked up the person to investigate. Why do we investigate? Because 1, he may not be acting alone. 2, we want to know the extent of the action. And 3, they want to see if there are things they can do to ensure that next time it doesn't recur. What is wrong with it? Why should a certain political party have a consistent record of jumping onto the street, demonstrating, destroying property.
In the state, a similar thing happened. Somebody on radio station insulted the Secretary of State, then Hillary Clinton, and then Obama. The moment he finishes his submission, he was picked up by Security Services, and the Republicans did not complain.
No, but I think what is surprising is that, look, we forget that not too long ago in this country, under a certain ex-president, Mr. Kufuor, when a certain ordinary mason of auto mechanic standing in Kumasi and seeing a presidential motorcade and saying that, hey, people are enjoying, he's grabbed by the security agencies and beating people who complained. The NPP, they were blind at the time, or they were deaf.
They say two wrongs doesn't make a right.
What I'm saying is, it's not about two wrongs making a right or not. I'm saying that even if for them, it was a non-issue. This is the man who has committed a crime. Committed a crime that we all say is despicable. A crime that when the Akufo-Addo one came, we all said he wasn't good.
But they said is too much for the BNI. Police or CID can.
They do not determine who should do the work for the security agencies. Okay. They know their rights, they know their work, they know the scope within which they operate. Nobody should sit in the comfort of their homes, drink tea, and determine which security agency should do A, B, C. But the fundamental here is that wrong has been done. Let the law take its course.
Okay.
Let me add up. You see, if you look at our laws, reference has always been made to a person. Okay. A person who does this, a person who commits this act, a person. The law does not talk about a member of a political party or a member of an ethnic group. No, it talks about a person. But the dimension which is now added to, this political situation we are now having in this country. A person is now interpreted to mean a member of a political party.
Yes.
To the extent that, you see, if a person goes to commit an offense, instead of that person being held to the act committed, the political party and its members are now inviting the security forces to hold the political party and its members for an offense, for an act which has been committed by a person. It is wrong.
Very.
I am saying this, that, look, any such photoshopping against any person, be it against Nana Akufo-Addo, or any me, or you here, is wrong. If the NDC people are doing it, or they have been doing it, or they are found to be doing it, as Omari Wadie is claiming, I think they must also desist from doing so. Because if the law catches up, what the MPP people must know is that if the law catches up with this gentleman now, it must definitely catch up with, any alleged NDC man or CPP man who is doing the same thing.
Okay.
So it's not a question of, going after a member of the MPP. It is a question of going after a criminal in society and trying to bring sanity in the society.
Okay. Let me announce the phone line and I'll come back to the studio. You can join on the discussion on 030221170124. Keep the calls coming.
Yes, like I'm saying, it's a question of going after a criminal, not because that criminal belongs to the MPP, but because he's a criminal, a person of Ghana who is subject to the laws of Ghana and has committed an act which offends the criminal laws of this country, and might be perceived.
But shortly after his arrest, on the wall of Kennedy Japan, who's also a member of parliament, he wrote that Omari Wadie of the NPP has been arrested by the BNI. Join the team to free him now.
There are some people I will never waste.
Let me pick this call from Mohammed and I'll come back to you, Uncle Chris. Hello, Mohammed. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
You're on air, Mohammed. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening to your panel there. Please, I'm very, very happy to listen to your panel. They're sitting there discussing about the issue, the picture, the somebody put it out, and internet, the people today you are worried to end these people. But you are sitting there. Are you forgetting the Akufo-Addo go to GTV for interview? The NDC people come out to criticize Akufo-Addo for researching a woman. Listen, you are people forgetting. You know, you people are doing that is for Akufo-Addo.
Okay, let me just allow Mohammed to finish. Mohammed, help me. I'm confused. I do not know which issue you are addressing. What did you say the NDC was doing? You said the NDC was doing something to Akufo-Addo.
I said that. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is that. You see, you've discussed a lot of it. The issue is very, very nice with regard to the photo manner. Yes, let's agree. But I will have a problem with the national security that is trying to paint the picture as if they are one-sided. And that is going to disturb, and it is a very dangerous thing that we are facing in this country. Assuming that you have a picture of Nana.
Thank you very much for your views. I'm running out of time. I'll count for the response. Let me pick another caller. Hello, Samson.
Yeah, my brother. Good evening.
Good evening, Samson.
Yeah, yesterday I'm calling the program and the people cut me in the line.
You mean Minority Caucus?
Yeah.
Majority, we don't cut lines. We take all calls.
He cut me in that line, yeah, because I bring the genuine answers to those people. My brother, you know, if somebody did a wrong thing, okay, let me say, if that guy sent this picture, for example, the security catching, he's the same man who did the same thing for Akufo-Addo, and he turned back, said it's NDC. Because if you have evidence, why you don't send the evidence for the Interpol or national security so that the person who did that wrong for Nana Akufo-Addo is a bad, so that police can go there to arrest him. And you don't do that, and you just try to.
He took the law into his hands.
You put the law in your hands, and the man is the president of the Republic of Ghana. Is supreme than Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is not a president. The people of this country who will listen to me and must think the law. If you take the law to the hand, today I will hear the voice for that guy. That guy said he's going to the dad. Says is so many mosquitoes there. What do you mean? You have so many people who put in the jail. You don't do nothing. Yeah. Why do you tell me that there's too much mosquito? If you did wrong for this country, if Akufo-Addo did wrong, the law will need to catch him. Thank you, my brother.
You are most welcome. I have Seidu. Hello, Seidu. Hello, Seidu.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, my name is Peter Seidu.
Okay, you are there.
Calling from Kumasi.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to contribute a little bit in your program.
Feel free.
My point is, the DNI arresting the Wadie guy is a very appropriate thing. Because what he did was despicable, and like going through the internet and seeing the kind of comment people make from it outside, matter is not good for the country. So I don't think the BNI should leave this case hanging. They should proceed on it, and if there is any kind of persecution, they should do it.
Okay.
So that like it will serve as a deterrent for others not to involve in this kind of despicable act.
Very necessary.
Thank you very much.
You are most welcome. Yeah.
I think that Mohammed gets the picture entirely wrong. First and foremost, we are not here to decide whether somebody did it as an NDC or an NDC. We are seeing Omari Wadie as an individual who has gone out there.
Because the law says a person.
Yes, and as I sit here, I will not be surprised if the Akufo-Addo even comes from his Yeah, it's possible that he is doing all that too. It's possible.
That's a justification for doing what he did.
Until there is some evidence that some other person is doing the Akufo-Addo one, I think that we should leave that investigation for the security agencies. Nobody should think that somebody has been, because he is the one whose own has come out. So we know. But I am confident that it's possible. Because even within the MPP, who says that we don't know that there are fascists, and therefore one fascist can decide to go and do that. So nobody should think that anybody is playing politics with the issue. We are saying that he's Ghanaian, but we are saying that the people of Ghana does not deserve that kind of thing. And that when you do it, the laws must catch up with you.
But apart from that, let me add up this point. There is a legal concept, I think, with Jews' territory.
Jus 30.
Yeah.
That's a Latin expression.
You don't set up a defense by using somebody wrongdoing, that somebody has done something. So,
as a justification for another wrongful act.
If people do the same publication against Nana Akufo-Addo, it's bad. It's criminal. We are condemning it. If others do it against the president, it's equally bad. Yeah. Both are despicable and must be condemned. The security forces must go after every one of them who, is guilty of this kind of crime. That's the point we are making. We are not talking about the president because he is a president, therefore, he should be protected when Nana Akufo-Addo should not be protected. The law does not make that kind of differentiation. But what I want those who are thinking like that to, accept is that, you see, we have a constitution which is saying that the president cannot be sued while he's in office. In the same vein, once the president cannot be sued, he cannot also sue.
Yeah.
So this case couldn't have been a civil action.
That is it. It cannot be a civil action like people are saying that, a cause of action accrues in favor of him in defamation, so he should go to court and sue Omari Wadie for defamation, libel, and that kind of thing. And I will say, my God, the Constitution says the man cannot be sued. Definitely, once he cannot be sued, he cannot also sue. Because if he goes to court to sue, and somebody set up a counterclaim, it's a fresh action. Yeah. How does it?
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but then this is an offense against the state. Yeah. My brother, if I slap you now, or if I start destroying things at the studio here, it is not Joy FM which will take me to court for that criminal act.
The criminal
it's
damage
not
act.
you who will take me to court for the criminal act. It is a state. So the case will be the Republic
against Omari Wadie.
Chris Akume.
Okay, in this
case. Do you
case.
understand? Yeah. The Republic versus Chris Akume. Even though it's you have slapped, but that slap is a slap against the state.
Okay.
You understand? So Ghanaians.
You remember the Hot FM, that pastor?
They have some hot exchanges there.
It was prosecuted by the state. Why was it the state?
So this is an offense against the state. It's an offense against the state. And more so, let's be talking about sanity. If something is wrong, and the police did not go after that person because they don't have evidence for against, and then they now have evidence to go and after another person for purposes of investigation and prosecution. What is wrong with that? So if there are 10 criminals and it comes to the knowledge of all of us here that this man is a criminal, this one is also a criminal, and they go to arrest one, they will be shouting that, why had this one be arrested? When he's caught stealing. I don't know. But
okay. See, in conclusion, in 15 seconds.
That my friends in the MPP must come again.
Okay.
If they actually believe in the rule of law.
Okay.
If they actually believe in the rule of law and they are opposers of democracy, they must support the security agencies in order to, maintain law and order in our society.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming. I have been joined in the studio tonight by lawyer Chris Akume, a leading member of the NDC legal team, also a member of parliament for North Dai, lawyer George Lowe, also a member of the NDC legal team. Do make a date with me on Thursday for another discussion on Majority Caucus. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.